Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. We're doing a 2019 Ram front CV axle. I've already done these a while ago. I did a video on the other side. It was more involved because of what was wrong. This side's going to be a little more straightforward. So let's get to it and I'll show you how I do them. Alright, so first thing you gotta do is pull your wheel off. We're not going to film that. Pull that thing off of there. I'm going to lay out some tools for the rest of the job. And also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, now's a good time to do it. I appreciate it if you have. We're almost to 1,000, so please support me over here, like the video, share the channel. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go over all the steps briefly here, and then I'll perform each task. So what we're going to do first is take these little spiral clips off, and you just got to pry up. They're the ones that, pry all these up with a little screwdriver and take these off. Then we're going to go after the back caliper bolts. These are 13 millimeter. Use an impact or ratchet, whatever you want, wrench, whatever. And then behind there is the actual caliper bracket mounts, 2 of those. I don't have a 21 millimeter, so I'm using a 13/16. So there's the tools. I'll show you that in a minute. And then after that, we're going to pull the caliper out and hang it. I got some zip ties. We're just going to hang it right there. Then we're going to pull the caliper bracket off, and then we're going to pull the rotor off. And then we'll take this loose. I'll show you what tool that is. Then we're going to take the upper ball joint loose. And we're going to take the tie rod end loose, and then the ABS wire. There's I think a 5 millimeter Allen wrench down there to get that off. We'll show that after we get down in there. And I believe that's it. And we'll flop everything out of the way and pull the pry behind the CV there with the pry bar and get it out of that side. And I'll show you that when we get there, but most people do it the other way, and they got to pull the lower ball joint off too, and we're not doing that. We're going to do it with the upper ball joint only, and I'll show you how. All right, here's your tool list. This is going to be for the axle nut. So 35 millimeter for this particular truck. I've seen them, other Rams are a little different, so you got to check yours. And then 13/16 socket, and I don't have a 21, but that's going to get your yep, that's going to get your tie rod, and that's going to get your upper ball joint, and I believe, yep, and get your caliper mount, your caliper bracket. So 13/16 for all 3 of those connections. Then we got 13/16 deep well. Actually, my bad. That's for the caliper bracket. You got to use a deep well for the tie rod end and upper ball joint. Gotta have a deep well. I'm using a 1/2-inch drive. They're not very tight. Then this is going to be for your caliper. That's 13 millimeter socket. And then you got your 10 millimeter wrench just in case. When you start spinning this, it spins. You got to hold that with a 10 millimeter. And then go to a wrench on that. That's if the whole thing spins. So I just got it ready just in case. Then a big 1/2-inch breaker bar. That's for the caliper bracket. And that's my final torque down. I use a torque wrench for the axle nut, but only goes to 150 foot-pounds. And I got to put just a little bit more on it. I'll use the breaker bar. And then you got the pry bar to get the CV out. And a little screwdriver for getting those. And I think it's 5 millimeter for the ABS deal. And they're going to need maybe a pry tool or something to get the ABS wire out right there. Maybe by hand, I don't know. And then that comes out by hand. Get it out of the way. All right, I'm going to start. So that's the tool list. Then these little prongs. Now, this one's tight. Okay. Pull that guy off. They're kind of useless, honestly. It just holds the rotor on a little bit better before you get the lugs on there, that's all. These are the same thing as you see the ones with the little drill and tapped hole right there, the little flathead screw. Everybody debates if you need them or not. These are, here's your debate right here. These do the same thing as those little screws do. Is this holding anything on? No. I mean, not like structurally, no. So yeah, you do not need them. I mean, I hate that debate. Think about it. Put your wheel on, tighten up your 5 lugs. What the hell are 2 quarter 20 little screws doing? Nothing. All right, next step. All right, gonna zip off this nut, axle nut, the 35mm socket. There we go. All right, gonna take loose these 13s. You can use your hand hammer. Works very well. See? The old hand hammer. Works very well. You don't have to do it, but I do. All right. Now I'm gonna get me a bigger screwdriver, which is not on my list. I'm gonna pry over the pistons a little bit, if I can. If not, I'll get that C-clamp and push them in just a little bit. All right, couldn't find anywhere good to pry behind that brake pad safely. So just pry up with a screwdriver. Get your big screwdriver, pry up in there. Just makes it a little bit easier when you compress that piston, but you don't have to yet. So, all right, got it there for now. Gonna get some zip ties. I'm gonna zip tie it up out of the way and pull these ABS lines out of the way. Like this one here, it's pulled out of that little fork. Go. I should be able to get into that over here and break it loose. All right, this one back here. Just gonna get a pry tool behind there. There we go. Got that popped out. Now we go and get this caliper wired out of the way. All right, I got the 13/16. I'm gonna go after the caliper bracket bolts with the breaker bar because, just because. Hand hammer. I tell you what, man, very effective. A lot of people don't utilize the hand hammer enough on jobs like these. I can't stress it enough. Learn how to use the hand hammer. Just a little tip. There we go. All right, they're broke. All righty. That one out. Impact would have been easier. Hard to get in there, but whatever. All right, pull that whole unit out. How do you like to put these? Nah, I'm just gonna throw them to the side. They'll pop up. Now I can pull the rotor off. You like that? I just pulled it right off. Yeah, how to clean this up. I'm gonna clean it up and put some lube on there before I put her back on. All right, now that exposes that little, I believe it's a 5mm socket head cap screw. Wow. Yep, it's torqued in there. Holy shit. Ooh. I don't like that. Usually come right out of there. Sucker ain't liking it. But it is coming out. I'm gonna finish that off and we'll pull that out of there. Got her out. Yeah, nice and rusty. So that's out of there. Give it a couple blows, get all the crap out from there before you pull it out. I need a screwdriver. Oh, there it goes. Yep, screwdriver. Okay, everything out of the way. There it goes, out. Now you kind of just get that out of the way. All right, so that's all loose. Now we're gonna go ahead and go to the, probably a tie rod, ball joint, and that should get this whole knuckle this way. So I can pry that sucker out of there, and I'll show you the trick. How a lot of guys like to push it this way, the CV axle, and you got the distance is longer here from here to here to clear is longer than that little 2 inches that has to come off on the inside. It has to come off a little spline shaft that long. So think about that. The range of motion to travel is a lot less there than it is on this side. So I pop it off there, pull it off, and you'll see it comes right out of there. All right, it's got a 13/16 wrench. These aren't very tight. Can't get an impact in there really. Oh! Don't do that. I got ratchet wrenches too. I just don't have it. I gotta dig them out. See, 13/16 is just a little snug. Definitely 1mm if you have one. All right, it's loose. I'm cutting onto this one. Again, hand hammer. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get those loose, all the way off. All right, I got that one back almost all the way off. I got some threads on there. I'm gonna go ahead and smack the A-arm, break that ball joint loose, and I don't want it popping all the way off yet. Damn, tight. It should be tight. I mean, that's the whole point. Okay. Get that up out of the way. Double check, nothing's hooked up. Tie rod, I'm gonna get that out. It's usually pretty loose. Go. Tie rod's out. I get all that movement. See that? I'm going to lift the truck up, and I'll show you how to pop that loose on the inside. All right, now it's just a matter of prying. Trying to get in there a little bit without fucking the seal up. Now my pry bar, I did grind it, so it's a little sharper. You can see that or not? So I can get behind there a little bit. Well, didn't want to see that. The whole shaft came out with it. It's not what you want to happen. Might make things difficult. All right, well, I'll show you what happened. The intermediate shaft, there's a little spline shaft that goes up inside of the differential housing. It came out with the CV axle. So now there's not enough, it's too long to come out of there without taking a lower ball joint off. So that's what I did. Broke the nut loose, gave it some wax, it broke the taper off. Now I'm just gonna pull the whole knuckle off, and that'll allow the CV to come right out. It's a step I was trying to eliminate, which you don't have, if that's what it came off the way it should have came off, you don't gotta take the lower ball joint off. You don't have to do that. Being that it came out the way it did, now I have to. So that's what we're doing. All right, get the whole knuckle off. Now I can pull the shaft out. I'll show you. All right, this was supposed to stay inside of there, and it didn't, so it's stuck in here. So I gotta get this out of here now, so that's gonna be a little tricky. But I just changed it. This is all new, so it should not be that tight. It kind of surprises me. Pretty rusty though. So, next job, get this out of there. Hopefully it goes easy. All right, I was lucky I had a puller, so I'm gonna use this split clamshell type puller. I got behind it, and hopefully this works. Shouldn't be that tight. Tight. That sucks. It's not what I wanted. I probably got to bend that dust shield up a little bit, but I'll straighten her out. All right. Let's try that. All right, I got it out. Pain in the ass. Yeah, it's greasy and everything, not even dry or nothing. That son of a bitch was stuck in there. Fucked up the dust seal. I'm gonna try to straighten it out best I can. Just a dust cover. Just gotta get it fairly flat. Get all that. Gotta get all that wave out of it. Shouldn't be too hard. All right, I get the dust seal back on her best I can. It's bent up a little bit, so I straighten her back up. Wish I had a new one, but I don't. So just throw it in the V-block. Not bad. That'll do. Just a dust seal. So once I get everything back up in there, I may have to beat it around so it doesn't rub. So now, clean up the splines, grease it, put the O-ring back on, and stick this side back into the differential. And we're back in business. All right, stuck her back in there. Not bad, nothing rubbing. So we're good there. Now we'll go ahead and put the CV back on, knuckle back on, and reverse the process. All right, gotta get the new CV axle, line up the spline. There is no orientation, you can just find one that fits. Okay, now that's started. Gotta pop it past that snap ring. Give her a pull. Whoop, see, it wasn't on. Try that again. Hopefully that dust seal ain't holding it up. Okay, there it is. It's on. Okay, no noise. It's on. Now I can go ahead and pull that off. Go ahead and put the knuckle back on and start this inside the knuckle. It's a lower ball joint. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on these splines. Don't need a whole lot, just keeps any crap from getting in there, rusting it up. Okay. Grab the knuckle. You're gonna kind of have to start the CV and the ball joint at the same time. Not like that. Okay. Start that nut. Bottom of the ball joint. Start this one on top. If you can. Oh man. Son of a. What the? Here we go. Okay, everything's started. I can pull the spline through here. That's good. Hear that? Yeah. Start the nut. Don't need no anti-seize or nothing on there really. It's a lock nut. Alright. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start tightening upper and lower ball joints. Then I'll get the steering rod, tie rod back in there and button that up. Alright, as I'm tightening the lower ball joint, it's not a 10 millimeter on the bottom. I gotta hold that from spinning. That stud, it's a 12 millimeters. So add the 12 millimeter to your list. Hold it. Until that taper grabs, then it won't spin no more. These ratchet wrenches are nice. Okay, you pull it off. Now I'm gonna torque her down. I'm gonna torque her down to that many foot-pounds. Now listen, back in the day when we worked on cars, yeah, I know there's proper torques for the threads. You develop a knack for it later, but I'm not gonna torque it with a torque wrench. I mean, it's tight. I can go tighter, but I don't need to go much tighter. The top one. All right, I'm gonna get this top one. You see it's spinning. This one is 10 millimeter. I'll hold it. So put that on there. Draw it up till it taper grabs. Okay, ratchet wrench isn't clearing no more. Yeah, got some clearance issues. Flip it over, open it. give it a. That's torqued. That's torqued to good foot-pounds. Yep, that's foot-pounds right there. How many? This many. All right, got that. Tie rod. Same thing, ratchet wrench, 10 millimeter. I mean, you can over torque this stuff, you can, but I'm not. You can see I'm tightening them. Right there. Those are perfect torques. All right, so I got that top tight, got the bottom tight, tie rod tight. Got this started. I gotta do that when it's. Last thing I'll do is tighten that down. I'll use the impact just to draw it down, and then I'll get my breaker bar and tighten it down. I'll get my torque wrench and I'll go to 150. I think it's 180. I'll look the spec up. I got 150 with my torque wrench, and then I'll just give it some more, a little more. Look at that. Pretty good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the ABS, get the caliper mount, ABS cable and all that. We'll get all that buttoned up. A little closer look at that ABS. So just that guy goes in that hole. I'll clean it off a little better. Spray the bolt with some WD-40. Tighten that guy up. All right, got her all clean and lubed up. I just use ceramic brake grease on there. Handles the heat better. So it won't cake up, and sometimes the wrong grease will make things harder to pull apart. Put the rotor back on. You always want to put the rotor back on first, because if you don't, it's kind of hard to put everything else back together. You know what I mean? Rotor first, then brake, caliper bracket, then a caliper. All right, I'm gonna put these little clips on. Oops, I forgot. I gotta get needle nose and bend those tabs back down just a little bit to give it some bite. All right, so I just grab some needle nose. Hope you can see that. I just bend these down just a little bit. Okay. Get that one. And see, that's all I do. You just hold it on there a little bit better for you. That's all they got. That's all they do. Same thing here. Bend them down a little bit. Okay. There you go. Okay. Get the caliper bracket. Okay, caliper bracket. Slider pins, check those. Everything's good. You don't want to never seize these. Actually, they Loctite them. I'm not going to Loctite them. I'm just going to tighten the piss out of them. That's how I roll. I tighten the piss out of shit. I torque it. You know, I'm glad this video had a little bit of an issue there, and you could see me work through it. No editing. I'm not going to edit the video. We're going to keep it how the problem existed, because that happens a lot. A lot of people are going to try prying that thing out of there, and the whole axle's going to come out. And they're like, what the hell do I do now? So kind of glad, in a way. This video was going to be how to do it without taking a lower ball joint off, but I had to, so anyways. All right, we're tightening that guy up. It's probably the wrong size. No, right size. Okay, now these should be pretty tight. I'm actually going to put the breaker bar on them, because you do not want those to come loose. I'm not going to tighten as tight as I can get it with this breaker bar. There you go. Good. Good. They're good and tight. Okay, while I'm in here, I'm going to lube up brake pad slider deals, or the little steel hardware for the brake pads. Okay. Yeah, everything moves nice. Now, we'll go ahead and cut the zip ties, get the caliper on there. All right. Probably should have pushed these pistons in. Kind of forgot to do that. Let's see if they go. They might actually go. Yep, there we go. Caliper bolts. Brat. Okay, 13 millimeter. Sometimes that'll spin too, but these aren't. Don't get these too tight. Get them snug. Don't need to go crazy. All right, I already got the ABS wire pushed back into there. Here's the fork. Push it back onto there. Like that. Check. Float. All right. Tight, 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 tight. ABS line's tight. That should be it. Put the wheel on. We're done deal. Gotta get that guy a little bit tight though. Remember, don't bear down on this with the impact. Just enough to bring it in. What the heck? Different size. Huh. $36 now. Huh. Really? Yeah. All right, replacements came with a bigger nut. So 36. I'm gonna feel for it. Okay. Now I'll put the wheel on and take it on the ground, and I'll torque it down. I think it's 180. I'm gonna verify that. All right, just looked it up. 185 foot-pounds on that nut. So after I get the wheel on, lower it back down to the ground. It's already, like I said, I already got it shouldered out. But we'll go ahead and double check that torque to 185. All right, wheel lugs, 130. Okay, I'll crank her up. All I can get to 150 out of this guy. Okay, 150. We're just gonna go a little more. I don't trust this. We're gonna go to breaker bar. We're gonna just get a fraction of a turn on it with this. That's it. 180, 185, 187, 187. All right, there we go. I'm gonna put the center cap back on, and that's a wrap. So, all right, well there you have it. A couple little issues. Well, one little issue. Glad it happened. You can see what you can expect when you do these on these Dodge. I don't like the way they have an intermediate shaft, short little shaft shoved up inside the differential like that. Other makes and models, your CV axle has a male and built onto it that goes up inside your differential, and it's all encased and sealed inside there. This one has an extra joint right there. I don't know why they did that, but they did. And that's the problem you can run into. So anyways, thanks for watching. Again, please subscribe, like the video, comment, ask questions. Hopefully I can help you out. Thanks again. See you next time.